Hey everyone, I am TheChosenOneLegend here, as always joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascurreyn.
And welcome back to the BunchaJokahs podcast, where we talk Nintendo news from the past month, as well as other gaming tidbits. And surprisingly, it's been a pretty busy January. I mean, we literally had a mini direct a few hours before we're recording this, right? So it's
Yeah.
They've been announcing some stuff, you know, we're still waiting that main February direct. But there's quite a few small bits, and it'll be interesting to see how many of these you remember happened, Kai.
Yeah, honestly, that'll be the question. I probably won't be aware of half of it at this point.
Well, as usual, there will be timestamps in the description below for those watching to hop about. Other than news, we also talk about games we've been playing at the end, so you can skip it to anything you like. But let's get started with the first segment of the podcast. Can't have a podcast without news, baby, where we talk about the news highlights of the month. And starting things off, just a small one, we got our first new Joycon colour variant, which sounds, you know, kind of neat, except I don't know if you've seen these, Kai. The only colour that changes is like the inside of the Joycon. Otherwise, it's all black, exactly the same as the default ones.
I don't think I have seen this. Hang on. Really?
You look it up, you're really not missing much, but you know how the main Switch 2 Joy-Cons just have a tiny bit of colour, like, on the insides of the connecting bits, and underneath the analog stick? Those are the only bits that change colour. So, it feels kind of pointless. You know, like, I guess, like, if you need to pick up new Joy-Con, then you might get these ones, but with, like, the Switch 1 Joy-Con, there are so many varieties of colours that collectors would just pick them up for the sake of having a set. Whereas no one's going to do that when the only colour change no one sees for most of the time, right?
Yeah, I can see that actually now. That's yeah, I mean it's not, it's one of those things like nice to have, but that feels like so insignificant. Because yeah, you're going to have them in the Switch some of the time, so you're not even going to see them a lot if you use a Pro controller. And even if you do use these colours and you really want them because they're nice colours, you really would just want to get the whole controller that way, no? So, like, it's fine. I don't think it's bad, but it's extremely niche. So, I guess it just begs the question of where's the rest of them?
I've seen some people theorising that maybe, because, like, the brightly coloured Joy-Con is, like, associated with the Switch 1, maybe they didn't want brand confusion of people thinking they were buying Switch 2 controllers or Switch 1 controllers and getting them mixed up. But, I don't know. I feel like you can experiment at least a little more than this, I reckon. Not that I'm really much of a collector anyway, so I don't really care. But I'm just holding out for like a Xenoblade 3 Pro controller, or you know, that kind of thing. That's what I'm looking for.
Same. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I get the concern around branding because I don't think the Switch 2 did a good enough job distinguishing itself to the regular person in its branding. There were so many cases of people accidentally buying an OLED and stuff, thinking it was the Switch 2. So I definitely feel like something could have been done there. And maybe that's why they're being cautious. But yeah, it's like they could have done a little more than this. Like, just something different, you know? Even if it is like bright colours, surely there can be some kind of, even like a mark on them to distinguish it in some way. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It feels like it could have been navigated, but it's just a big whatever sort of thing, isn't it?
Maybe they're playing it safe for now, and they might venture out later on. I guess we'll have to see if they continue like this, or if we get more unique variants in the future. But I suppose in the meantime, talking on things that, you know, people sink crazy money into, Lego. We have a few sets. We have Lego Pokemon for the first time. They sort of announced like a Lego Eevee, a Lego Pikachu, like a big Lego set of the Kanto starters. That's like £600. Holy shit, we can afford that. It looks sick, yeah. But oh, that's a price tag. That puts the Deku Tree to shame.
Yeah, it looks sick, but 600 grand sick? I don't know.
£600, not grand. It's not that bad.
Not grand, sorry. No, it's not that bad. Hold on. Yeah,
but I wouldn't be surprised, to be fair. Like, it's Lego.
Yeah, honestly.
It's like, I mean, I'm not the biggest Pokemon guy, so I was never gonna pick up these sets anyway. But it is a shame you're getting that Pokemon tax on top of the already gargantuan Lego tax, right? It's not going to be affordable to a lot of people. Even the smaller sets are still expensive.
No, this is strictly a collector's item for the diehards and the people who have way too much money on their hands. Yeah, good for them. And it does look great, actually, from what I saw. But Lego's just, man, it's really up there, huh? It's really up there.
Well, their way to try and tempt me is, of course, Lego Legend of Zelda, because that also has had another set revealed. Sort of a showcase of the final fight between Link and Ganon in Ocarina of Time. And it looks really sick, and it is 100...
Is that the tennis one, where you like hit the projectile back and forth?
No, it's the one afterwards against Beast Ganon. The big final one. And it comes with a little mini Ganondorf figure as well as like the big Beast Ganon construction. It's a really cool set piece. It's £100, which is... I mean, to be fair, that's like the cheapest one of these we've had so far, you know?
Yeah.
It's still overpriced, but it's in the possible for someone without completely breaking the bank as a treat, you know? So I might have to get this one. Maybe with like birthday money, it comes out a month before my birthday, so I'm thinking I might.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for that. That does sound pretty cool, and if it's not the big Pokemon one, then it might be affordable, so... it's cool that these things are being made. You know, they're still giving these throwbacks to the older games and all of that. You know, there was a time where they wouldn't, so that's nice, definitely. And less than 600 quid, the better.
Even if you can't afford it, it's just at least there's something. You know, they're branching out with the merchandising more than they did before, which is cool. I mean, I think if I had this as a kid, like I would have freaked out. This would have been so cool. Now I'm just, rather than having to play with it, I'm fretting up finding a space to put it. That's as big a problem as the money, is where the heck do you fit all this Lego? But we'll deal with that later. That's for another time. And we said it before, but I pray they don't make like a £600 Lego Bionis and Mechonis set, because I might actually go bankrupt.
Oh, that would be so good though. Oh, but that would be so... Oh, don't put that in my head.
It would be one of those perfect display pieces, even like a miniature one. For like you could do like the £100 sets and get like a miniature one that fits just on the shelf. Like, I don't know, it's
that would work perfectly. It really would.
Yeah, that's another video idea for the future. Anyway, in the meantime, Mario Wonder, it's getting sort of its Switch 2 edition update. We got another trailer, sort of going into a bit more detail. Honestly, I thought it looks neat, like they officially announced Rosalina and that, and showed off the mini-games, but I'm a little bit disappointed for two reasons. One, when they sort of teased the Koopalings before, I thought maybe there was new story content with them. It's not, it's just extra missions where you chase them in levels, or they mess with levels a little bit. So it's not bad, but it's not the single-player content I'd hoped for. And also the multiplayer mini-games, there's like over 20 or something, but only 6 of them are playable online. And it just feels like such bizarre messaging for the Switch 2 edition of a game, when one of the Switch 2's main selling points was game share and game chat and playing online with people. And this is the perfect thing for that, but the DLC is mostly local. And maybe that's just, you know, when I was a kid back in school, I'd have friends to play this with and I'd love that and that'd be fine. But as an adult now, it's kind of making it less of an appealing buy for me. I don't know about you, Kai, but I'm not sure yet.
I think the key there as well is which games are the ones that are online only. And
that's true.
Even the online stuff has no collision. And it's just like the race stuff again. It's basically just races. Like, unless I'm reading this wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's right, is like the online stuff is, it's a race where you're on a flower upwards, or you're in a car going to the right, or you're in a bullet. None of the games that are like the fun PvP looking ones and all of that, they don't seem to be online, and those are the really interesting looking ones.
Yeah,
so and even like stuff like the coin collecting stuff looks like it's only offline, and it's like you say, this is one of the main features of the Switch 2, and they're not using it. What's the point? It just feels like a bit of a waste. I mean, I'm debating whether to get it, because to be honest, the stuff that they have shown all does look pretty good. It's just, why are they so against online? I really don't understand.
Yeah, like, this should be a no-brainer sell for us too. It makes perfect video content for us to, or even stream content, or just social nights to get a bunch of friends together, multiplayer on this, but if they're not providing that option, that the package becomes less tempting. And I can't remember how much it is, or if they've announced that. But hey, we'll see at the time. But I'm less tempted to pick this up now. So it's kind of a shame, but it's not like there aren't other games to play.
I might do it anyway, just for the laugh of it, but and like to try it. But it does kind of feel weird. I guess we'll see. You know, we saw like Rosalina in the game, Luma, some sort of new flower power up. So
just checked it. The upgrade pack is £17. That does seem a little steep for what you're getting.
17. Okay, I didn't realise it was that much. I thought it was a 10.
Yeah, we always go back to it, but Silk Song is cheaper than this.
Silk Song's the comparison. Yeah,
it is nowadays.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see then. I think that's a big we'll see what happens at the time, if I'm really bored or not.
Yeah. To be fair, again, I don't want to seem too negative. It looks fun. It's just a shame it's not
amazing.
A little bit more. Yeah. And Rosalina's cool and that, so that's not a bad thing. It will sell well just based on that. But I guess talking on sort of updates for games, I'm going to sort of compile two Switch 1 games that are randomly getting updates. One was Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which already was like a port of a port, which is now getting an update with Dixie Kong and fixing features and improving stuff for Switch 2, which is bizarre out of nowhere. And then Splatoon 3 is getting an update with new game mechanics, like a kill streak feature, where you sort of get like a burst of ink around you if you get consecutives, and it now displays enemy health and a few other small bits like that, and it's so out of nowhere, like...
I mean, to be clear, Splatoon 3 is like, I think that's my most played game on a single account on the Switch. Like, I put well over 300 hours in. I was very invested in this game, and I've not played it in years. Why are they like this content needed to be there years ago? It was when the game came out. Releases came really slowly. Like the updates, you know, there were a lot of balance patches. They were pretty quick, but actual new content was extremely slow compared to the previous games. Where was this, and why are they suddenly thinking, let's do it now? I don't get it. It's weird. I mean, it's cool again, but it's just weird decision making, I guess.
Like with Donkey Kong Country Returns, that was a pretty, you know, people were saying it wasn't the best port at launch. This is fixing it. It's good that it's on par now, but again, should have been at launch. And Splatoon 3, like, we even had a Switch 2 update, like, a few months ago. A free one, you know, but why wasn't this included there as part of that? You know, it's... I not that I would, you know, I don't want to sound too negative. Updating games, you know, better late than never is always true. Like, these are objectively good updates in a lot of ways, and at least interesting updates that I think are good to have. It's just bizarre. That's the thing. It just makes me wonder what their plan is with these, like, you know, which games are getting free updates, which games are getting Switch 2 editions with new content or just graphic changes, or that. Their whole sort of updates on Switch 1 games has just been such a weird roller coaster, and I can't tell what their plan for it all is at all.
Yeah, it's a weird... It has been a weird streak of information thinking about it. Just all these games, and it's like... The timing is so strange. And these are all good features in general. Like, you know, even on this Splatoon update, like, the stuff they've included is interesting. Okay, you've got a flow mechanic. You've got enemy HP that you can now see. That's kind of a huge thing. A couple of other balance changes. It's like... This is a weird time to announce these things. I guess they're really trying to keep the competitive scene alive, but why now? And even Donkey Kong Country, it's like, why? You know, I've played a lot of Donkey Kong Country on the Wii. It's not a very good game, I'll say that up front. It's just janky, like play Tropical Freeze instead. I don't know why they remade it, and then they're like amping up the remake. I just don't get it. I don't see why they've focused on that so much when they've got Big Bonanza and Tropical Freeze to look at, but I don't know, man. It's been a weird one.
Every time I see these, it just makes me sad it's not Xenoblade 2 or 3 getting the Switch 2 updates. Like, come on. I'm going to keep saying this every podcast until it happens. And the fact that they keep happening randomly at least gives me hope that this still will happen. But, it's a no-brainer. Just you don't even need to give new content or anything. Just let them play at increased resolution and frame rate. Boom, you know.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes. I guess some certain dev studios are just like, yeah, we've got like a spare month until our next project starts. Why not?
Yeah, maybe it'll squeeze in like in as like a stopgap for whatever Monolith Soft's cooking for their new game, or maybe they are giving a more substantial update, and that's why it's taking longer. Who knows? But holding out for the February Direct to give us something, maybe. But it's not. It's going to be like here, Metopia getting a Switch 2 edition instead, which, to be fair, is a cool game. But
It's so strange.
In the meantime, let's switch over to our biggest sort of news stories of the month. Our two most recent ones as well. First of all, we got a new trailer for the Mario Galaxy movie, finally showing us Yoshi. We got a better look at Fascurreyn and sort of the village there, and it looks fun. It's still looking very fun, right? Looks good.
Yeah, it's another weird one. We kind of got a lot of info from that in terms of what we're going to see, and there's not a lot of Galaxy stuff leading to the idea of like, when they say Mario Galaxy movie, the galaxies aren't like the ones from the game Mario Galaxy. Like the kingdoms from Odyssey and the places in Sunshine, all of these are going to be places in the galaxy, possibly, or something along those lines. So it's cool. Obviously Yoshi was the big focus, who we knew was going to show up. I kind of like how they gave a different announcement for that as part of the movie, because the original announcement already had quite a lot going for it.
Yeah.
It's looking good. I think it's looking very good.
I do think everything we saw in this trailer, I think partly why it was less Galaxy focused was, I think this is all intro stuff. Like, I feel like it's pretty clear cut. The movie starts with them going to Fascurreyn, getting Yoshi, going back for like the Star Festival or whatever's happening, and then Galaxy kicks off. And I think everything we saw here is just this opening section. But we'll have to see like what more they do. But even like the small references, we've got Birdo in there, which is cool. We got with the sort of the Fascurreyn villages, like in the background, I could see one of those little guys with the little stone statues with the glasses you use to see invisible platforms. Like the attention to detail is just so there. Like the little sound effects are all perfect. I'm just glad that's being consistent through this movie. The love they put into this for like the Mario franchise remains insane.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, even they've got in the part of the Sunshine place with Birdo and Peach. They've got, what is it, Mouser from one of the early games.
Mario 2, I think.
Why?
Yeah,
So random. And that alone, I will say that's already one of my favourite set pieces from the film. Is this casino room that seems like it's got all weird gravity. That looks amazing. So yeah, that's all. It's all very good. I mean, the writing is very standard movie, like mainstream movie stuff. It's gonna be its normal writing thing, but all the references and everything just look amazing. Even like the Luigi frog suit and stuff. It's just great. Everything is really impressive so far, and I'm curious how they're gonna fit all of this into this film, to be honest. Yeah,
no, there's a lot there, and you kind of wonder like what they're saving for another one, because I'd imagine at this point there'll probably be a third one. I mean, maybe we still haven't got like Daisy, Wario, Waluigi as far as we're aware. There's still stuff they can do, but throwing Odyssey and Galaxy stuff in one movie, that's a lot of your big guns out the way. So we'll see.
Yeah, and the babies. I forgot about the babies.
Oh yeah, and the T-Rex from
you guys got
Odyssey.
Any babies? Yeah, I mean they're just really mixing and matching all of these. While Yoshi is holding NES gun or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, the Super Scope.
That's the one, the Super Scope. Yeah, like while he's holding, there's just a ton of references all in at once. I'm guessing that's not a different Mario and Luigi. I think they were probably just made to be babies somehow.
Yeah.
And,
just to get
it's going to be like a temporary plot thing, yeah.
I think it's just like to get the Yoshi's Island reference in there of like Yoshi protecting the babies. I'm imagining that's what that's about.
Like a flashback or something.
Well, no, I think it's modern day. Yeah, I assume it's modern day, and they just get transformed to babies by Kamek or something like that. But who knows? Maybe it could be there's some secret past with Yoshi and like, oh, he actually protected us as kids or something. But given they were meant to live in the real world, I doubt it. But
Yeah,
hey,
I agree.
April 1st, it's not long to go, right? So we'll definitely be like reviewing that at some point after it's out. So that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, very impressive so far. Very impressive.
And speaking of impressive, Tomodachi Life, living the dream. What an acid trip, and it's all the better for it. That we got a direct just not long ago today, and I'm still trying to process it. I think because we love Mocha. That's all I know. We all love Mocha.
I mean, I'm fascinated by, first of all, that the trailer was completely different in terms of the characters involved and stuff, depending on which version you watched.
Regional,
the US had a different one and that sort of thing. Like, it's just bizarre to me. But no, I mean, the game looks good. It's kind of what we already knew in some places. You know, you're going to have your drama in there. You can make your Miis. They talk. You give them personalities. We saw a lot of that. I went into the trailer at the beginning kind of going, man, the island's a bit disappointing. It just looks a bit flat and small, and you don't really get a sense of scale. And they still don't have the mountainousness of the original. However, you have a lot more to work with. It's become Animal Crossing-like, with just the sheer amount of customization and land you have to work with. It's kind of gone beyond Animal Crossing, actually. So I'm really impressed with that part off the bat, just in terms of a new feature. And then, the better Mii customization... all of that it just looks great so far. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I've never played Tomodachi Life. I sort of missed it back on the 3DS, but I saw like, you know, the clips, like people making cursed music videos and these weird ships happening on the island and all that, and it's just absolute chaos. But I'm so glad that it's being here in all force for the Switch, because I'm looking forward to just being able to try this for the first time. I still have no clue what I'm going to do with like my island. Like, what's the theme going to be? Is it just random people I know? Do you go for like a series or who knows? But like, clearly there are a lot of options and a lot of different personality traits you can give your Miis and all that. And like, watching the direct, it was honestly kind of like just watching an episode of like some cursed TV show. I was getting engaged in like the content of, okay, you know, is she going to end up with Bubbles, the clown? You know, and then the betrayal. It top 10 anime twists or whatever. You know, it was genuinely just fun to watch. Just watching someone else's. So I'm being able to put like your own spin on that. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, I used to play this a lot on the 3DS. This was one of my most played games, actually. So I am very much looking forward to it from that. I restarted my island a lot because it was like, I added a bunch of random people and family members at first. Then I was like, I'll have people from school. And then it was like, just add in random franchise characters. I don't know. And it's that kind of is fine because it was one of those games where like you spend the first couple of days making everything, unlocking everything, and it's really fun. But the weakness of the original is after those first few days, you just logged on and it was like, okay, some people are hungry and you want to feed them, and like you've unlocked everything, so there's nothing new to look forward to. That happened very quickly within like the first 5 hours, and it seems like they've worked around that this time to give you a lot more to just go on with to make the game last a bit longer, which is really nice. So that's good. One of the main things that's missing right now, which hopefully still appears, is the concert hall. That was probably the most popular part of the original, where you had like, I think it was 8 preset songs, or maybe 10. And no, I think it was 8. And you could, you know, give those as gifts to characters, and they could sing, and you could set up what the lyrics were. You could make your own funny ones. And people loved that, so I hope something in that capacity returns, because you can only imagine what people are going to come up with.
I mean,
so having more of those just little fun things would be great.
Yeah, that's what made the game go viral in the first place. You know, like, again, people like me who didn't own the game, I saw the ones people were making of those. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get something similar. Though they did mention, like, it's unspecific, but they made a post saying that, like, certain image sharing features on the Switch will be restricted for the game. And you can see why. Like, it's not at all hard to understand the concept there. But people will, let's be real, people find a way no matter what.
You just use a capture card, it just means you'll be able to take screenshots.
People will find a way, so you're fighting an uphill battle there, Nintendo. It's gonna be cursed, but that's gonna be the joy of it. So we'll see what comes. But I'm gonna pick this one up at launch. Like this is a day one buy for me. Yeah. Were you thinking of streaming it, Kai, or just in your own time?
I'm probably, I don't know fully. I think we'll have to see. Based on the nature of it, I might start each stream with like 10 minutes of it, because like I say, really that's the way that in the original, that's the way you would play it, is you just do like 15 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day. And you can't do much more after that. Sometimes it's literally just like, okay, I have to put the game down. There's nothing else to do. So I'll probably do something like that. We'll see. No,
that makes sense. It's definitely one of those games. If you try to binge it, you're doing it wrong. This isn't a completionist game. This is a chill back, pop in every day. You know, so as long as we don't have like a second lockdown and everyone binges it like they did Animal Crossing, we should be fine there. But let's see how that goes.
One more thing about the game before moving on. Actually, is I could be wrong on this in some place. I don't remember fully. But it's interesting that we had the different localizations for the trailer, because I seem to recall that this was one of those games where they had some massive localization changes between the US and the UK. You know, in terms of the way that they called certain things, I think some of the food items and some of the choices on that front. It was one of those games where, like, if you're playing it in the UK, it did feel like a British game, so to speak. You know, it had that extra little bit of charm of like, oh, this is stuff that's actually familiar to me. It seems like they're going down that route, and that'll be quite a fun one for us, I think. I guess we'll see. Like, I think even that the voices are different. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think you might be right. Yeah, they definitely, you can tell just from the fact they did these different directs, they are definitely leaning into that more. So if I can feed my Mii's copious amounts of fish and chips, we're doing something right.
Yeah.
But that, so I think, brings us to the end of the news. So there we go. A lot of stuff to look forward to. But let's get to the games we've been currently playing with the final segment, Games Time, baby. And I'll start things off here because I've got, well, as I mentioned to you before, I've played 3 games this month. Like, I'm for the lack of big releases, I am binging that backlog, and it's great. But let's start off with Metroid Prime 4, which has obviously been a long time coming, like 7 years or something, and they'll sort of talk about a bit of a mixed reception. Was the game overhyped? And yeah, it's not like remarkable, but I think it's a very solid, good Metroid Prime game. Like, I've had a good time with it. And I kind of think what it comes down to is it just feels kind of like it's another Prime game. Like, this could be another Prime game released on the GameCube. It largely plays the same, for better and for worse, I suppose. It's very authentic in that way, you know. But outside of like the visuals, which of course look bloody fantastic on the Switch 2 and Switch 1, it's a Switch 1 game even. But yeah, it looks phenomenal. But the gameplay is the same, you know. Even they sort of like tease like one of the big new features being psychic ability Samus gets, but 99% of these are just your previous abilities with the word psychic put in front of them. Yeah, you get psychic power bombs. They're just power bombs. That's just what they call them in this game. So, I mean, it's not a problem really, because these moves are the ones we've had for Prime for years, and they were great then, they're still great now. But it means that it doesn't really reinvent the wheel. It plays the same. When you compare that to something like Metroid Dread, which reinvented 2D Metroid with like the counter mechanic and felt completely fresh, this doesn't really, you know. But I wouldn't say it's the same as like Age of Imprisonment, where that was like basic to a fault. It does enough that it's still a good entry, and it's still fresh enough, but it's not going to blow your mind or revolutionize Prime. It's just more Prime, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
And the ironic thing is that the biggest change it has that is modern is the thing that people like the least about it, which is the bike section and the open world desert, which I think it's fine, you know. Visually, again, looks great. The bike's fun to control, and as a point to get from A to B, it works fine. But just the concept of it kind of makes the game way more linear, where it's kind of like Ocarina of Time's Field, just you go through here to get to one area, then go back through it to get to another area. Whereas other Metroid games were like this whole labyrinth of moving back and forth between areas. Kind of like, well, you've been playing Hollow Knight, so you know how that goes, you know.
Yeah.
There's an appeal to that, and this game just lacks that. So for some people, that's a big deal breaker. And even games like Dread, which are a bit more linear, still make it feel more like you're exploring than this game does. So for that reason, it does feel short of the original Prime. It doesn't quite match those vibes and atmosphere. And, you know, boss fights are fun. I like the characters in there. I think people exaggerated how annoying they are. I think they're fine. There's some hype moments. The ending's good. It's just a consistently good game. You know, even like a solid 8 out of 10. And maybe it's not like the 10 out of 10 the original Prime was, or like this revolution people were hoping for after all these years. But considering the development hell this game's been through, like getting restarted, it's a miracle it even turned out good at all. So I think they're on the right track to make a incredible Metroid Prime 5 if we get one, now that they're, you know, dedicated to it from the start now. But what we got is a good game. Like, I'd recommend it.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, because I've played one of the Metroids on the on the Nintendo Switch Online. And outside of that, I've not played a whole lot of Metroid. I mean, I played the demo for Dread and I couldn't beat the tutorial. I think I just wasn't very good at it, quite frankly. I've never been good at the Metroid games. Like, would you recommend to someone like me to play this game over Dread? Like, what would your take be from that perspective?
It's interesting. Like, I mean, obviously, I've fanboyed about Dread loads to say that I think Dread is absolutely the superior game, but they are different. They play differently, you know, 2D, 3D. So if you don't click with Dread, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't click with the 3D Metroids. It's more, you know, it's a first-person shooter at its core. It's a lot more slower-paced combat and that kind of thing. And it's more about the exploration than it is about the combat, I'd say. So I think like Prime 4 is still a potential starting point. Like you could start with Prime 4 and have a great time with it. That being said, Prime 1 is on the Switch and I think it's better. So, you know, maybe just get Prime remastered, and if you like that, you could go straight to Prime 4. You don't really need 2 and 3 unless they do decide to re-release those. But yeah, I think Prime 4 is very beginner friendly. If this was your first one, like, you could absolutely get into it this way.
Okay, that's interesting, yeah. I mean, I haven't actually seen that much of the game since it came out, but I've seen the environments look really good.
Oh yeah,
that's the main thing I've been impressed by. It kind of gives me Xenoblade X vibes in a way.
Yeah, definitely some of the areas have that kind of atmosphere to them. You know, you got like forest areas, you've got like an icy, like abandoned laboratory you're going further down, and with sort of more horror vibes to it, and that like. Then you've got the open plains of the desert, and you can see all the other areas stretching out around you. So it nails the atmosphere, as Prime always does. You know, the vibes are there. It's just like the only thing is also like, it's not just the gameplay. I think Dread was more experimental with, but also like that game made Samus way cooler. Like for lack of a better term, Samus is aura farming her way through all of Dread's cutscenes. Like, just messing with the boss fights. Every time a new boss is introduced, she does, like, some badass move to it. Whereas in, like, Prime, every time a boss comes up, she just points her arm cannon at it, and then the fight starts, you know. So that...
Okay.
They didn't make Samus as cool as she has been in Dread, and that saddens me. But she's still inherently cool. That you know, it's fine. But, yeah, good game. Good, What about you, Kai? What have you been going
I'm glad it's come out, and meanwhile, I have been playing a game that has been out for quite a while, and I just never got around to it, which is Hollow Knight. So yes. I've been playing this this month. I finished it very recently. I got would you call it the true ending without spoiling? Because I probably shouldn't spoil.
I'd say so.
I got ending 3, which is great alongside the other 2, and. It's just a very good game. Like, I have a lot of just thoughts, but they all basically come down to it is a very, very solid game. It sets up the exploration of the world very well. It doesn't hold your hand, which I really like. It does kind of just let you go at it and explore at your own pace in whichever way you want to go and do it. The upgrades that you slowly get across the game are great. I was surprised, but it was one of those games where, you know, you have the idea of like, how much do you want to put down a game? And in other games, I'm generally like, okay, I'll get to a good benchmark, and then I'll put it down. Hollow Knight doesn't have that many benchmarks. It has benches, quite literally, but like, at every given point in the game, I was like, okay, I've just unlocked this thing. I've got like 3 places to go. And every time you go to those 3 places, each one unlocks like 3 more places you can go, or things you can do. It's like, oh, I've got a new map, or then I've got a new upgrade that lets me go back to an old area, and then go to a new place, and weapons. There's a lot to it, and it's really fun. You know, I had a good time of it, and I was a little worried going into it, because I knew it had a reputation for being difficult. And I was like, God, I don't play a whole lot of platformers. Am I going to be good here? I actually didn't struggle, really. Like, the hardest boss was Nightmare King Grim, the DLC. And even that one didn't take me more than a couple of hours. Most bosses, I think almost every boss was within 5 attempts, which I was happy with. So, but it was difficult, to be clear. Like, it was very difficult, but it was pretty fair. You know, the only time that I felt like things were slightly inconvenient was my playstyle was very much, in boss fights especially, was like jumping around the map slots. Bosses like to jump around the top of the map too, so if you're trying to be a floaty guy, it does not help, because they will just jump into you with very little warning. But that's more on my playstyle, and you've mentioned to me that Silk Song is maybe better geared towards that airborne playstyle. I mean, I can't remember if I've mentioned this at any point. The only thing I knew really about the game going into it was pogoing, where you just down slash on enemies non-stop. That was the only thing I really knew of going into it. And so I was practicing that from the very beginning. It's so satisfying, and like I got good at it pretty early, which did help me out quite a lot. And I could clearly see some bosses where I was like, yeah, you definitely just move your hitbox upwards, because you know that players are going to pogo on you, huh? Like, they clearly designed it with that in mind. But I just liked, you know, the environments were really good, the music was good, boss fights were really a real, you know, they're a highlight, obviously. And I liked how the game wasn't as scared to do things that would inconvenience the player or make things a little bit tricksy for the sake of being interesting. How do I reference this without spoiling it? There is a certain surprise you might receive going through the game where you'll lose a lot of your possessions. And it's little things like that where it's like, wow, they really just did that to me. Interesting. And then you take it on as a new challenge. You just get things like that, and it's like, wow, okay, they've really tried to just, above everything else, keep it interesting. And I really liked that. And, you know, I was playing with all the DLC, so I took advantage of most of that. The only one I didn't do was I started God Home, and I decided this will make me rage probably. Let's end it on a high note. I'm quite happy with my completion. It was exactly on 50 hours.
That's fair.
I was like, that's good, but I got all the grubs. I got all the charms. The charms, by the way, as well, like excellent method of upgrades. I think that more games, I mean, a lot of games do already follow that badge system. But I thought the way they did it was very good. You got a very good variety of badges. Longnail, my beloved, was there for me from the beginning to the end. And yeah, just, I mean, the story, I haven't mentioned the story, but that was really cool, the way that they did it sort of thematically throughout the game, slowly learning, and then it all kind of picks up at the end, because, you know, it's quite vague at first, as it should be. So that was well executed. Like, it just covered everything. It just did everything really well. And I'm looking forward to playing Silk Song, and we kind of discussed this, where I'll probably play it when the DLC comes out later in the year, just so I can have that whole experience at once. I found this was a very momentum-based game where you really want to be getting in a groove with it, and when I had stopped playing for a day or two, it quite affected me. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Silksong because I can see why it has received the plaudits it has. It's been very, very impressive.
Yeah, I'm very glad you love this game because look, I love it too. And the thing is, it's been like years since I played it, and I had a great time with it. But I think I didn't really fall in love with the series to this level until Silksong came out, and that sort of reinvigorated it. And I didn't get exactly 100% on Silksong, but I got all the endings, and I've done most things in it, most bosses and that. And it's like Silksong takes what Hollow Knight does, but Hornet is like way more agile in the way she moves in that. So like you say, for your like aerial combat and that, you definitely have options. For example, you can heal in the air as Hornet is a major thing.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
The way that works. And I think you're going to love Silksong. But hey, it's making me really want to go back and play Hollow Knight. And it's getting a free update on the Switch, which is where I've got my version. So I maybe I will sometime this year when there's a gap. But I mean,
yeah, maybe. Like, I think the upgrade system really helps with that because I can't see myself replaying it soon because, of course, I just finished 100%ed it. But I could definitely feel in sometimes I was like, I've done this section way later or sooner than I should have. Just because of how open they let the game run. But like, it all flows really naturally. It goes really well on that front. And it's gotten me thinking more than ever about playing a randomizer, where you randomize all of your item pickups. So you might get a random thing that gives you money, or you might get a charm, or you might get a map for a whole new area, or you might get a traversal thing. Like, if I were to play a randomizer for a game, Hollow Knight's on my shortlist because it just sounds cool. So maybe we'll see in the future.
Like you say, there's already so many ways everyone's experience will be different in the first place. Never mind randomizing it. So it really nails the exploration like no other game. Like in terms of like I if I were to compare like Silksong to Dread, it's hard to compare. There's things about Dread I like more, but in terms of that getting lost in the place and discovering new locations and exploring, like, no one does it like Hollow Knight does. It really nails it. So
no, it's one of the best exploration games or anything I've played for. It's probably the best 2D game I've ever played, I think.
No, that's fair.
And just on a lot of those genres, it's probably the best one I've played. It just does a lot of things very well. So yeah, good time.
Absolutely. And I guess I'll bandwagon off that to talk about another indie game, one that I've been playing. And that is Deltraune, chapters 3 and 4, because I sort of replayed it all, but I played 1 and 2 back when they released, so this is a replay for me. But chapters 3 and 4 were new for myself, so it's sort of my first time going through those. And the other interesting thing is this is my first time getting back into it after playing Undertale, because chapters 1 and 2 I played before even knowing anything about Undertale, really. And you definitely notice, like, not exactly story connections, but thematic things that make you wonder.
Yeah.
And also, it's just interesting comparing them gameplay-wise. Because I remember playing Undertale thinking, this isn't quite as good as Deltraune in some ways. Deltraune has a lot more RPG mechanics, it dedicates itself to longer sections and that. But now going back to Deltraune, I kind of miss how fast-paced Undertale switches between sections and gameplay mechanics, because it's one smaller, tighter experience. It's kind of nice that they both have their own benefits and sort of neither one's exactly superior, they both stand out. But specifically in terms of chapters 3 and 4, like chapter 3 is all presented like a TV game show, and the writing is absolutely as dumb and brilliant as you would expect. There's a lot of good humour in there, the presentation of it, the references, even the gameplay bits where there's like a game within a game you're playing, almost like a top-down Zelda-like. And there's little gags where like the characters switch controllers midway, so you swap who you're playing as and bits, and it's constantly messing with you and mixing things up as you expect from any Toby Fox game to do. And then chapter 4 comes along, and it's this way more like story-focused section where you're sort of exploring this sort of beautifully melancholy church atmosphere with like blue stained glass reflections everywhere, and you've got this beautiful music playing, and like the vibe switch is like night and day between them. It is kind of crazy having, but I think that's kind of again, the strengths of Deltarune is because it has this split chapters. The way it's releasing is like different arcs in the TV show, where each one has its very unique feel to it, whilst all continuously still building the overall story and character moments. And there are like the main characters like Susie and Rousey get these really sweet moments of development between them, especially in Chapter 4, but throughout, you know. So I'm definitely intrigued to see what Chapter 5 will be, both in terms of the lore and everything, but also like what's the gimmick going to be this time? Like where's it going to take place? What is the new Dark World you're going to explore be like? And it's releasing this year, so I won't have too long to find out. But no, it sort of made me appreciate how good Deltarune is in having these completely different chapters that each are both part of the same thing whilst offering something completely unique. And hey, add it to your backlog, Kai.
I mean, it's I've seen. I remember seeing quite a lot about Deltarune Chapter 1 when it came out, and I've seen bits of Chapter 2 as well. And I'm pretty much blind on the last two right now. Maybe, to be honest, I mean, it's as you say, like it kind of sounds like a lot of it is a lot of just Toby Fox's playground of, hey, I've got like a bit I want to run.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
He's a silly, goofy guy. He's always been a silly, goofy guy, and like, sure, yeah, he just wants to do that, and then he's got the story that runs alongside it when that needs to really shine, and it's just such an interesting. It feels like one of those things that's like it's a very contemporary form of what a video game is. Yeah. You know, you don't have. I mean, it's not the first game to not have combat in. That's kind of. It's not what I mean to say as much as I might sound it, but it's like they very much just spend the whole game messing with you, and it's like, where does this draw the line between being a game and being something else? Just because of the sheer way it presents itself, I find it so different to everything. Which is kind of fascinating to me.
That being said, I will also say like the gameplay elements, because of course there are fights, and you can choose to do them like traditional fights, but most players are going to want to go along the pacifist route and try and avoid them. But it's actually getting a lot harder. Like I feel like the game difficulty's building up with the chapters. I've essentially found myself having to use like potions or healing items and revive items mid-battle for the first time in like Chapter 3 and 4, where I was like breezing through Chapters 1 and 2. That being said, I did actually do the Chapter 4 secret boss. That's the only one I found like just on my own playing, and that was a lot of fun to play. Also, again, it goes without saying for a Toby Fox thing, but music off the charts, like genuinely insane. I will say,
I've not actually mentioned this. This is going to be news to you as well. So random music obviously just pops up on my YouTube, right, all the time. Yeah. I have had from Deltarune, I think it's like World Revolving and the secret boss from the first chapter. I can't remember what the theme is called.
That is World Revolving. It's the secret boss from the first chapter.
Oh, that is. Oh, sorry. So that one, and there's one other from Deltarune Chapter 1. That's been appearing, and it just shows up on my feed all the time because every time I see it, I click on it and listen to it. It's the piano arrangements, and I don't know if they can be found on his channel or not. They just kind of pop up randomly in my feed, but it's just these amazing piano versions of the Deltarune songs, and I've been listening to them on repeat. So
yeah, I mean,
there is that aspect of like I can't deny I've been listening the hell out of these songs.
I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler for something here, Kai. You know I'm working on a Dungeons & Dragons one-shot for you and some others to play. And I'm just throwing in some Deltarune music in there, like from Chapters 3 and 4, because it's just that good. Like, oh, this I need to use this. So you'll hear some of it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's actually just the whole soundtrack. Like I've like Rude Busters in there, Field of Hopes and Dreams is in there.
Great ones.
All of those ones, because the piano versions are just amazing. I'm in awe. So I've been listening to those. I will say the two main things that stopped me from playing it is, one is I'm a little bit scared of playing because it's like a bullet hell style for evading attacks, and I'm not good at that.
It can be tough.
So that is one thing I'm a little worried about, admittedly. That's just a weakness of mine. But then also it is... I don't tend to let things online affect me from playing games, and I never even cared much about the Undertale fan base when that came out. I didn't really care. I I will say I do not find the what's his name, the Spamton jokes funny where you put things in brackets. I have consistently found that to be like one of the unfunniest bits ever. And that alone has made me put off playing Deltarune quite a few times. I know it shouldn't, because it's like nothing to do with the game, but man, people have been so unfunny with that. I don't know. Yeah. That's just me.
Because the funny thing is, Spamton, like, he's such a tiny part of Chapter 2. Like, if you're playing it normally, I think you get more when you do the secret boss, but which I didn't do for that chapter. But like, if you're in the game, he's just one mechanic that comes and goes very quickly. But they always latch onto something, don't they? There is, I'm surprised I haven't seen more of it. There is a kind of a gag they do with like one of the battles in Chapter 4, which has like a unique character, which I feel like should catch on because it's very funny. But that's the thing, you have to sort of divorce it from the fan base sometimes. And we're Xenoblade fans, so we know how to do that.
Oh, exactly. It's like, normally I'm very good about not letting it affect me. This is the only case I can think of where that has actually stopped me from wanting to play a game so much. But I do know better than that. It's just one of those things to get around to, so I'm not opposed to
that's
it.
fair.
And yeah, it's just such a solid game. So maybe when Chapter 5 comes out, and then I can kind of blitz it all. Who knows?
But hey, I mean, like I said, we've got I think the next game we're both picking up that's like a new Nintendo game is probably Tomodachi Life, and that's not till April. So we've got months to go through that backlog and find games. So it's
make the most of it. Through
it. Might as well. But that does bring us to the end of the podcast for this month. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. You can find us here on BunchaJokahs on YouTube for discussions, reactions to any directs. Hopefully a February one soon. And, of course, audio-only versions of the discussions on Spotify and other podcasting sites. Kai, where else can people find you at?
Twitch.tv/Fascurreyn. I am still playing Inazuma 11 Victory Road. That's going to be the case for quite some time. I'm going insane.
Oh, it's a trip. You want to check it out, trust me. And you can also find myself, twitch.tv/TheChosenOneLegend. Currently about to finish Ocarina of Time Randomizer. I'm going to be doing some small bits after that. I have some plans. So yeah, go check any of those out. There'll be links in the description below. As well as a link to our friend Samm, who makes our graphic design work, except, hey, I've been cooking with thumbnails recently. I'm doing my best. He's busy getting buff, apparently. That kind of scares me. But for now, that's all. So we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and goodbye.
Goodbye.